Hi everyone. Let's start with breaking words into individual sounds or phonemes. Listen carefully. The first word is for.
For.
Or. Fur.
Fur.
Hard.
Hard.
Ard. Horse.
Horse.
Or. Dirt.
Dirt.
Swirl.
Swirl.
Circus.
Circus.
Market.
Market.
Great work. Now I'm going to say a part, and then we're going to add a sound to the beginning to make a new word. So repeat the part after me and then tell me what the new word is. Say lead.
Lead.
Add s to the beginning and the word is sled. Say mash.
Mash.
Add s to the beginning and the word is smash. Say nap.
Nap.
Add s to the beginning and the word is snap. Say key.
Key.
Add s to the beginning and the word is ski. Say tapler.
Tapler.
Add s to the beginning and the word is stapler. Say weeper.
Weeper.
Add s to the beginning and the word is sweeper. Great work. Now let's add a sound to the end of the word part. Say stay.
Stay.
Add j to the end and the word is stage. Say row.
Road.
Add d to the end and the word is road. Say koi.
Koi.
Add n to the end and the word is coin. Say core.
Core.
Add n to the end and the word is corn. Say burr.
Burr.
Add st to the end and the word is burst. Say stay.
Stay.
Add k to the end and the word is steak. Now I'm going to chop a word into parts or syllables and you just listen and then say all the parts together to make the whole word. Difficult. Difficult. Furniture. Furniture. Intelligent. Intelligent. Controlling. Controlling. Glimmering. Glimmering. Behaving. Behaving. Impossible. Impossible. Principle. Principle. Great job. Now it's your turn to take a word and break it into syllables. This is a great thing to do if you're trying to write a long word. Break it into parts and then take each part and chop it up into sounds. All right, the first word is exploding.
Exploding.
Exploding. Impossible.
Impossible.
Impossible. Thermometer.
Thermometer.
Thermometer. Understanding.
Understanding.
Understanding. Presenter.
Presenter.
Presenter. Enjoyment.
Enjoyment.
Enjoyment. Gymnasium.
Gymnasium.
Gymnasium. Microphone.
Microphone.
Microphone. Gigantic.
Gigantic.
Gigantic. Great job, everyone.
Arlington Public School friends. Today we're going to talk about homophones. Homophones are words that sound alike, but they are spelled differently and they have different meanings. So if someone were to say the word, they would sound the same, but they mean different things. One pair of homophones is 8 and 8. I ate a piece of pizza and I have 8 friends. 2 and 2 is another group of homophones. 2 means also. I want a pizza too. 2 is the number 2. I have 2 friends. 2 is like going to. I am going to the store. Over here we have bear and bear. Bear is in bare feet. I like to go without shoes and have bare feet. This bear is the bear that you might see at the zoo or in the woods. So this is the animal bear and this is bare feet without a covering. C and C is another pair of homophones. C, I see you, means I can look at you. And C is like a body of water or an ocean. One thing I like to do with these is make silly sentences. So in this sentence, it says, I can see a sea. So this little person can see with his eyes the sea or a body of water. And we spell them differently too. You can see C and C spelled differently. This one is, I ate 8 donuts. 8 meaning ate the food, and 8 is the number 8. Can you go and make some silly sentences yourself and then draw a picture to go with your silly sentences? So maybe you can make a different 8 and 8 silly sentence or a different C and C sentence, or try to make one new with bear and bear or one with a couple of the 2s.
Hi everyone! Today we're going to be talking about R-controlled vowels again. Remember, an R-controlled vowel is a vowel or a pair of vowels followed by the letter R. The R slightly changes the sound that the vowel makes so that it sounds neither short nor long. Let's get started. Listen to this sentence. What sound do you hear that is the same in every word? Harsh barking harms smart artists. I'll read it again. Harsh barking harms smart artists. Did you hear the sound R in each of those words? You're correct. The new pattern that we're going to talk about today is AR. AR makes the sound R like in star. Can you think of any other words with the sound R in them? I'll give you a moment to think. Here are some that I thought of. Card, yarn, garden, arm, and shark. Now that we've practiced reading some words with the AR pattern to make the sound R, let's write some. We can use these sound lines to help us listen for each of the sounds in words to spell them correctly. Since the letters AR go together to make the sound R, when I hear that sound, I'll put both of those letters together on one sound line like this. The first word I'll write is art. We paint in art class. Art. I hear the sound R, A-R, T. Art. Watch how I do another word. The next word is dark. It is dark at night. Dark. D, R, K. dark. I can use this same method to write longer words, words with 2 syllables like harden. I'll do this by breaking the word into syllables. Harden. First, I'll write the beginning syllable, har. R. Next, I'll go to the second syllable, den. D. E. N. Harden. Today we talked about the pattern AR. This is another bossy R pattern. AR makes the sound R like in the word star. Be on the lookout for this bossy R pattern in your reading and writing as well.
Hi, Arlington County. Today we're going to read a poem about a very famous African American named Thurgood Marshall. Thurgood Marshall was such an important part of our country because he was a judge on the highest court, the U.S. Supreme Court. He was very important, and he wrote a lot of important decisions and helped make laws when he was on the Supreme Court. And that's a very prestigious, very important job that he had. We're going to read a poem about him. This is his picture. The poem is Thurgood Marshall, and I'd like you to just read along while I have the cursor at the end. Read along in your mind. Just follow along with me. Thurgood Marshall. When Thurgood Marshall was in the 1st grade, he wasn't shy and he wasn't afraid. His first name was Thurgood, which he thought sounded wrong. So he cut out some letters and said it's short now, not long. Thurgood and his dad met often to chat, arguing this, debating about that. Sometimes they laughed, sometimes they collided. I'll be a lawyer, Thurgood decided. Thurgood Marshall was the grandson of a slave. He learned to use words, not fists, to be brave. When somebody said, we don't like your color, he shrugged, turned his back, and studied even harder. As a lawyer and a justice on the highest court in the land, he brought people together by taking a stand. No person should hear, no, you cannot come in because of your religion or your color of skin. So I want you to see, when I read it, that I stopped a little bit for the commas, and then I stopped a little longer for periods. These quotation marks mean somebody is talking in the poem. So right here and here, this is where they start talking, and this is where he ends talking. That was Thurgood talking there. Then he also talks down here. I'll be a lawyer, Thurgood decided. He talks, somebody else says this. When somebody said, we don't like your color, somebody is talking there in the poem. And then again down here are the talking marks or the quotation marks. They start here, somebody talks, and ends here. So when we read this together now, I want you to remember the talking marks, the commas, and the periods, and to make your voice sound like you're talking when you're reading. Not like a robot, no robot reading. Thurgood Marshall. So I'm going to leave my cursor at the end so that you can see where we are all the times, but try to read with me. When Thurgood Marshall was in the 1st grade, he wasn't shy and he wasn't afraid. His first name was Thorogood, which he thought sounded wrong. So he cut out some letters and said it's short now, not long. Thurgood and his father met often to chat, arguing this, debating about that. Sometimes they laughed, sometimes they collided. I'll be a lawyer, Thurgood decided. Thurgood Marshall was the grandson of a slave. He learned to use words, not fists, to be brave. When somebody said, we don't like your color, he shrugged, turned his back, and studied even harder. As a lawyer and a justice on the highest court in the land, he brought people together by taking a stand.
No person should hear. No, you cannot come in because of your religion or your color of skin. There are a couple words in here that I want to make sure that you understand after we've read this now. The first one is shy. I think most of you probably know the word shy, but here it talks about Thurgood Marshall and that he wasn't shy and he wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid to speak up and say what was on his mind. His first name was Thurgood, which he thought sounded wrong, so he cut out some letters and said, "It's short now, not long." Thurgood and his father met often to chat. Chat here means to talk. Does that make sense? Thurgood and his father met often to talk. Yep, that makes sense. So, in this sentence, arguing this, debating about that, debating is similar to arguing. Arguing this, arguing about that. So they like to have debates and discussions and talk about things that they could give their opinions on. Sometimes they laughed, sometimes they collided. So I usually think collided means two things that come together like this and like kind of bump into each other, right? But in here, I'm thinking that sometimes they collided. Maybe they didn't always see eye to eye on things. Maybe they laughed about things that they had in common or they thought the same thing. But sometimes they collided, I think means that they would maybe be arguing and wouldn't believe what the other person was describing or believe in what the other person was saying. They had a different idea or a different opinion. So in this sentence, it says, "I'll be a lawyer," Thurgood decided. A lawyer is a counselor or someone who helps to represent maybe somebody who may have done something wrong, or maybe there's a misunderstanding. So a lawyer is a special job that helps people figure out problems. Thurgood Marshall was the grandson of a slave. He learned to use words, not fists, to be brave. When someone said, "We don't like your color," he shrugged, turned his back, and studied even harder. So if someone said a mean word to him, he kind of just shrugged his shoulders. This is shrugged. You can just move up your shoulders. You can do it right there. Shrugged his shoulders. He kind of shrugged his shoulders and turned around and he studied really hard because he thought that was the best way to deal with people who were not nice to him. He thought he would come back and be smarter than they were. As a lawyer and a justice. So this is that part that I was telling you about. He became a judge on the highest court in the land. A justice is a judge who helps decide things. So lawyers might come to a judge, tell them the different problems, and the judge will help them decide. Thurgood Marshall was that judge that helped people decide their problems. He brought people together by taking a stand. So sometimes stand can be used in a lot of different ways. Like you can stand up where you are right now, right? Just stand up. You can have a lemonade stand, but I don't think either of those are that. This is, he brought people together by taking a stand or taking a position or letting his opinion know. He said it's not right for people to judge people by their color or their religion, and we cannot do that anymore. So that was the opinion he let people understand, and he said, "Come help me." So he brought people together by taking a stand or sharing the same opinion. No person should hear, "No, you cannot come in because of your religion or your color of skin." So he was very helpful in getting equal rights for all people. So let's look at this first group of lines in the poem. And it talks about when Thurgood Marshall was in the first grade and his parents gave him this very long name, Thorogood. And he didn't like it because it was too long. And it probably was a little different than his other friends in the class. So he changed his name. He got rid of several letters in his name and made it Thurgood instead of Thorogood. So that's kind of interesting as little kid in first grade, he was already doing important things and big things and changing his name and deciding things for himself. Down here, he started this arguing with his dad and debating, and his dad was okay with it. He wasn't being disrespectful to his dad. He was just bringing up things that were bothering him or things that he felt needed to be changed maybe in our world. And maybe sometimes he might have been wrong, because it sounds like his dad sometimes said, "You're not right on this." They collided. But I'm wondering if some of this arguing made it where he wanted to be a lawyer, because sometimes lawyers have to argue to solve people's problems. And in here, it talks about how smart he was, and he studied really hard. As a lawyer and a justice on the highest court in the land, that's where I was talking about the U.S. Supreme Court. There are different levels of courts, and there's lots of different steps for courts, and the U.S. Supreme Court is the highest. So he had to be really smart and know a lot of different laws and legal information for him to get to the highest court. He brought together by taking a stand. No person should hear, "No, you cannot come in because of your religion or your color of skin." So it was very important for him to make sure that they knew that everybody was to be treated equal. And even if it's somebody's skin color or their religion or what they believed in or how they dressed, people should all be treated fairly.
Hi students, Mr. Parker here, and today we're going to be reading a realistic fiction story together. Remember, realistic fiction is still make-believe, but it doesn't have elements of fantasy or magic or talking animals. Realistic fiction stories could happen in real life, they just didn't. They were created by an author. Today's realistic fiction story that we're going to read is called Picture Day. Oh, Picture Day. I have memories of Picture Day from school, and I'm sure you do too. As a matter of fact, here is my school picture from Picture Day when I was in the 3rd grade. Yep, I remember I loved that sweater, but I did not love that haircut. In today's story that we read, the main character, Poppy, is very excited about Picture Day, and she wants it to go perfectly. Of course, it does not. As we read, the focus for today is going to be on retelling the important events of the story in order. And this is important for us to be able to do because it shows that we understood what happened in the story, and it also allows us to share with others what we've learned in a story. As you are thinking about retelling, you want to make sure that you're doing it in an organized order. So sometimes we could think about the beginning coming first, of course, then the middle, and then the end. Or if there are more details that you would like to tell, sometimes students like to organize their thinking like this. They use their fingers, the 5-finger rule. First, next, then, after that, and last. And that helps people keep their ideas in order. Sometimes when you finish a story, it's hard to remember what happened. And if that happens to you and you're having trouble retelling in order, you can go back to the text. Sometimes looking at the illustrations helps you remember the important parts, and the illustrations are going in order, so that could help you organize your thinking too. Sometimes students even like to jot things down as they're reading a story, and then they can use those notes later to help them in their retelling. Whatever strategy works for you is a great strategy. So let's read this story together now, Picture Day, and then when we're all done, we'll take a little quiz and see if we can retell the events of the story in order. Enjoy! All right, here we go. Picture Day, written by Jill Sherman, illustrated by Marcus Cutler. Remember, as we read the story together, think about the important events so that we can retell at the end, beginning, middle, and end. Picture Day. Important words to know, and our table of contents. Poppy's picture prep. Poppy beamed at her reflection in the mirror. Her new dress was absolutely perfect. It was her favorite shade of blue and had a row of bows down the front. She adjusted her beaded necklace. All she needed now were her fancy dress shoes. "Mom," Poppy exclaimed as she ran into the kitchen, "have you seen my dress shoes?" Poppy's mother was making her famous fruit punch. "My goodness, sweetheart, why are you all dressed up today?" she asked. "I'm trying on my dress for picture day tomorrow," Poppy explained. "I want to make sure everything is perfect." "Well, I think you're already perfect," her mom said. "I'll go get your shoes. Be careful. Don't drink the punch until you change out of your new dress," Poppy's mom advised. Poppy rolled her eyes. Her mom didn't understand that picture day was seriously important. It was permanent. Her class picture would be in the yearbook forever. Poppy grabbed a cup of punch and started to gulp it down. Returning to the kitchen with the shoes, Poppy's mom yelled, "Oh, sweetheart, you spilled your punch." Gasping, Poppy looked down. She couldn't go to school picture day like this. "It'll be all right," her mom said positively. "I'll wash it tonight. It'll be good as new. Now get changed. We have an appointment with the eye doctor, remember?" Picture framed. At Dr. Chen's office, Poppy was lost in her thoughts, barely listening to the doctor. She wondered if her mom would be able to get the stain out of her dress. "Why don't you go and choose a pair of frames?" Dr. Chen suggested. Poppy looked up, confused. "Frames?" she asked. "Yes," Dr. Chen said gently. "It's the part of the glasses that holds the lenses." "Glasses," Poppy blinked. "Mom, do I have to?" she pleaded. "I'm afraid so, sweetheart," her mom replied. "You'll need to wear them most of the time." Poppy hung her head. Everyone knew that glasses were totally goofy, but it would be nice to read the blackboard more clearly. "We have many different styles. Pick out whichever style you like best," said Dr. Chen politely. "They'll be ready by tomorrow afternoon," he assured them kindly. Poppy breathed a sigh of relief. At least she wouldn't have to wear those goofy glasses on picture day. The big day. The next morning, Poppy snatched her blue dress out of the laundry basket. She pulled it over her head, but something wasn't right. She felt like a stuffed sausage. Poppy couldn't lower her arms, and the bows pulled tightly. "Oh no," Poppy cried. "My dress shrank in the wash." She ran to her closet. Surely there was something else she could wear. Finally, in the back of the closet, Poppy found a yellow plaid dress. Yellow was her least favorite color, and the sleeves were puffy. They looked like giant balloons. Nevertheless, the dress would have to do. At least she still had her beaded necklace. Poppy started to secure the clasp, but something became stuck. She gave a quick, gentle tug. Snap! The necklace burst apart, scattering beads around her feet. Poppy scrambled to gather them up. What else could go wrong today? "Hurry up," her mom yelled. "Your glasses are ready early. We have just enough time to pick them up before school." Picture perfect. Waiting with the other second graders, Poppy kept playing with her glasses. She hoped her class's turn would never come. Maybe the camera would break, or a fire drill would start. She wanted something to happen so she didn't have to take this lousy picture. Next to her, Raoul fussed with his hair. "You're lucky your parents didn't make you get a haircut," he complained. "I hate this short hair." "That's nothing," said Lee. "At least you can still smile for the camera. Look at this." Lee flashed a jack-o'-lantern grin, showing several missing teeth. Poppy looked around at her classmates. Rosa had a bandage taped across her nose. Gabe was pulling at his pants, trying to hide his mismatched socks. Evan's broken arm was still in a cast. "I guess we all have something we don't like about our looks. None of us is perfect," Poppy said. "All right, second graders," the photographer called. "You're up." The class marched on stage. "What a great-looking bunch," she shouted cheerfully. The photographer arranged the class, moving Poppy front and center. She felt noticeable, like a big goofy target. Maybe it would be okay if I took the glasses off for just a minute, she thought. She was starting to remove them when the photographer leaned close and whispered, "Nice glasses." She winked from behind her own funky red frames. Poppy smiled and glanced at her classmates. She thought about how each one of them had been nervous for picture day. They couldn't take off a bad haircut or hide a broken arm. We're all different, she thought. Maybe that's what makes us special. She decided to wear her glasses for the picture. "Cheese," the class called out. Poppy smiled her brightest. Picture day hadn't gone the way she had planned. It had gone even better. The flash went off as the photographer snapped the picture. "Perfect," she cried. I hope you enjoyed that story, friends. Now let's think back and make sure we can retell what happened at the beginning, the middle, and the end. All right, let's put it together and see if we can retell with beginning, middle, and end. Here's some important events from the story. Can you put them in order, beginning, middle, and end, so that we can retell accurately? First, Poppy realizes that everyone has things about themselves that aren't perfect, and that's okay. She decides to leave her glasses on and take a great class picture. Was that the beginning, middle, or end? Poppy is so excited for picture day. She tries on her special dress, but she spills fruit punch on it. Mom also reminds her that she needs glasses. Where does that one go? Poppy's mom washes her dress and takes her to pick out the new glasses, but on the morning of picture day, Poppy discovers her dress shrank and she isn't sure she likes her new glasses either. You can pause here to have more time to think. You can also go back and listen to the story again. Let's see how you did when you're ready. How did you do? In the beginning, Poppy is so excited for picture day. She tries on her special dress, but she spills fruit punch on it. Mom also reminds her that she needs glasses. In the middle, Poppy's mom washes her dress and takes her to pick out the new glasses, but on the morning of picture day, Poppy discovers her dress shrank and she isn't sure she likes her new glasses either. And then finally, in the end, Poppy realizes that everyone has things about themselves that aren't perfect, and that's okay. She decides to leave her glasses on and take a great class picture. To practice this more, think about some of your favorite books, movies, or TV shows. Could you retell the important events to a friend or family member, making sure you include the beginning, middle, and end in order? Also, when writing, make sure you include a beginning, middle, and end as well, so that your reader gets a complete and amazing story. And finally, what are your picture day memories? Consider making your own story and sharing it with an audience at home. Thanks for learning with me, and see you next time.
Hi everyone, my name is Miss Berg and I teach 2nd and 3rd grade at Campbell Elementary. Today's math lesson is going to be about probability, and probability helps us make decisions every day. Like, what's the probability that it's going to rain helps me decide what I'm going to wear. So let's go ahead and get started with our lesson. Let's start today's lesson with a which one doesn't belong activity. Look at these 4 pictures of dice. Which one do you think doesn't belong? Remember, any answer is a good one as long as you can explain your thinking. Which one do you think doesn't belong? You could have said that the bottom left doesn't belong because it's a double. It has 2 6s. Or you could have said that the top right doesn't belong because it's the only one that has 3 dice. All of the other ones have 2. I bet you had some other great ideas. For our lesson today, the learning targets are I can list all the possible outcomes of an event, and I can describe the probability of a given outcome using words. Let's talk about some of the important vocabulary. The most important word for today is probability. And probability is the measurement of chance that an event will happen. An event is just something that happens. It could be flipping a coin, spinning a spinner, what the weather's like, or choosing a tile out of a bag at random. And that phrase "at random" is important because the events we're going to talk about are things where it's left up to chance. You don't influence it by looking or choosing. Instead, you just draw randomly. That means without looking, you get what you get. And the last important vocabulary word is outcomes. Outcomes are the things that can happen in a given event. Let's talk about some examples of events and their possible outcomes. For our first example, imagine that someone flips a coin. That's the event. That's what they're doing. It could land on heads, or it could land on tails. Those are the possible outcomes. Let's talk about another event. Imagine that you roll a die. That's the singular form of the word dice, just one of them. The possible outcomes are what? What could happen when you roll a die? That's right. You could get a 1 or a 2. You could get a 3, a 4, a 5, or a 6. Those are all the possible outcomes for when you roll one die. Another event is if you spin a spinner. I've got a picture of one here. What are all the possible outcomes? One thing that's tricky for kids is that when they see a picture of a spinner and it's already pointing to one of the colors, for example, this one's pointing to red. Does that mean it's always going to land on red? No. So even though the spinner is pointing to red, there are other possible outcomes, right? Yep, you've got them. The spinner could land on red, yellow, green, or blue. Those are all the possible outcomes. There are lots of ways to describe probability using words. One important word is impossible. There is no way that this outcome can happen. If I roll a die and it's just a regular one, it's impossible to roll a 7 because on a regular die, there's not a 7. Imagine I randomly pick one of these circles out of this bag. It's impossible that I'm going to draw a pink because there aren't any pink in there. There's no way that could happen. How about looking at this spinner again? What is an impossible outcome on this spinner? I bet you had lots of great ideas. One impossible outcome is that it would land on purple because there's no purple on the spinner. But if you had a different idea, that's great too. The next important word is unlikely. This outcome is probably not going to happen, but there is a chance that it could. If I roll a die, there's a chance I could roll a 1, but there are 5 other numbers that I could roll, so it's kind of unlikely that I'm going to get a 1. Looking at this group of sports equipment, I could pick a basketball, but I'm probably more likely to get a soccer ball if I choose one at random without looking. So it's unlikely to get the basketball. If you draw one card from this hand, what are you unlikely to pick? Yes, it's unlikely to get the card that's black, since most of the cards are red. Now, on the other end of the spectrum is the word certain. If something's certain, it is definitely going to happen. It's the only possible outcome. If I spin this spinner, I am definitely going to land on green. It is certain, because green's the only color. If I roll this die, I'm definitely going to roll a number that's less than 10, because every number on here is less than 10. It's certain. If you draw at random without looking a circle out of this bag, what is the certain outcome? That's right. You're definitely going to get a purple. It's certain. Now, there's also the word likely. This outcome is probably going to happen, but there is a chance it won't happen. If you look here, we're probably going to draw a red. It's likely because most of them are red, but there's a small chance we could get something else. There's a small chance we could get purple. So it's likely to draw a red. On this spinner, it's likely that we will land on blue, but it's not certain. We still could get the green. It's just much smaller than the blue. What is the most likely thing you would eat at this picnic? If someone was randomly passing out hamburgers and hot dogs, what will you most likely get? That's right, you'd most likely get a hamburger. The last way to talk about probability that we're going to discuss today is equally likely. These outcomes have the same likelihood of happening. If someone passed these cupcakes out at random in your classroom, it's equally likely that you would get a chocolate frosting one because half of the cupcakes have chocolate frosting. If you spin this spinner, it's equally likely to land on blue. This bag isn't full yet. We need to put some green circles in. How many green circles would you need to make green and red equally likely? That's right. We would need 4 to make green and red equally likely. We can put all those great words to describe probability on a line. Impossible means it's definitely not going to happen. Whereas unlikely means it could happen, but it's probably not going to. Equally likely means that there's an equal chance that those things will happen. And likely means it's probably going to happen. So if I reach into this bag at random and pull out a circle, it's likely I'm going to get a green one. But it's not certain. Certain means it's the only outcome. It's definitely going to happen. Let's talk about some probability questions. What is the probability that you will land on the color orange? You could use certain, likely, equally likely, unlikely, or impossible to answer this question. That's right. It's unlikely to get the orange. It's possible, but it's unlikely because there's only one orange out of 6 parts. Which color are you most likely to land on? You got it! You're most likely to land on yellow because there are the most yellow parts. What is the probability that you will land on the color purple? That's right, it's impossible because this spinner doesn't have a purple section. Now let's talk about weather. What is the probability that it will be a hot day in the summer? Yep, it's likely. I wouldn't say it's certain because there could be a day that's not super hot, but it's very likely that a day will be hot in the summer. Imagine your teacher got a sheet of stickers. What is the probability that you will get a sticker with a star on it? That's right, it's certain because all of the stickers have stars on them. But your teacher gave some of the stickers away. And now, what is the probability that you will get a blue sticker? That's right, it's unlikely. There's only one blue sticker and a lot of green and red ones, so you probably won't get the blue one if she chooses at random. So our learning targets for today were I can list all the possible outcomes of an event, and I can describe the probability of a given outcome using words. How are you feeling about that? Are you feeling red, I don't understand this yet? Yellow, I'm starting to get this, but I still have questions? Green, I can do this on my own? Or blue, I could teach this to someone. Well, how are you feeling? Today's family math tip is actually a game that you and your family can play together. The only thing that you need for this game is a pair of dice. If you don't have dice, Like, I just took these out of a game that I had at my house, but if you don't have dice, you can also go to google.com and search virtual dice and then choose 2 6-sided dice, and that will work the same. So the way this game works is you're going to set up a piece of paper with the numbers 0 through 12 at the bottom. And you're going to roll the dice. I got a 6 and a 3. So I'm going to find the sum of those two numbers. 6 plus 3 is 9. And I'm going to put an X above the 9. And you're going to repeat this as many times as you need to until one of the numbers gets all the way up to 10 X's. So let's see, I got 3 plus 1, that's 4. I'm gonna play a few rounds so you can see. Oh, I got another 6 plus 3, that's a 9. So now my paper is starting to look like this. I'm gonna keep going. Ooh, 5 plus 5 is 10. 5 plus 3 is 8. So this activity is really good because it helps us understand the idea that probability is much easier to understand the more trials you have. So we're going to keep rolling the dice as many times as we need to until one of these numbers has 10 X's above it. And I'd be really interested to see what you find out and why you think you found that out. You're going to notice that some of the outcomes are more likely than others. And that's going to be a really interesting discussion for you and your family to have.
Hi, my name is Erin San. I am a teacher and a mindfulness coach. And what that means is I work with people just like you to help them use all of their senses to notice from moment to moment what is happening in their lives without judging anything, so they can stress and worry a lot less and smile a lot more. Today, I'm going to share with you a breathing exercise that will help you deal with anxious thoughts and feelings that you may be holding in your mind and your body. Anxiety is our body's response to thinking scary thoughts about situations in our lives. Maybe you're feeling anxious about school or what's happening in the world right now. Or maybe there's something at home that's making you feel uncomfortable and worried. We have a secret superpower in our breath that can help to calm our mind, to quiet those anxious thoughts so our mind isn't spinning like a snow globe. And our breath helps to bring us to this present moment so we feel grounded and centered in a place where you truly are safe. This exercise is called finger breathing, and all you need are your hands. All right? So get your hands ready. Shake them out if you want. The way this works is you're going to take your thumb and place it at the base of your pinky. And as you inhale, take the breath in, the thumb is going to slide all the way up to the tip of your pinky. And when you can't breathe in anymore, hold the breath and give a little tap, just where the two pinch together gently. And when you're ready to exhale, slowly let the thumb come down to the base of the pinky once again. Find a little pause as you move the thumb to the ring finger. And do it again. As you inhale, the thumb slides up to the tip of the ring finger. Once it arrives, give a little tap, a little pinch, and then slowly let the thumb drift down to the base of the ring finger as you exhale. And then pause as the thumb slides to the center finger. And inhale, slide the thumb to the tip. When you reach the very tippy top of that inhale, give a little squeeze, and then exhale, slowly let the thumb come down. and then the thumb comes to the pointer finger. Inhale as the thumb goes to the tip. Give a little squeeze. Exhale as the thumb comes down. And then go backwards. So this is kind of what it looks like when you're doing it on your own. Maybe your eyes are open, maybe your eyes are closed. And you're welcome to bring your hands down to your lap so you're more comfortable that way. You don't have to hold your arms up in the air. Let your hands rest comfortably wherever you want them to as you do your finger breathing exercise. You can do this anywhere, anytime that you notice that you're starting to feel uncomfortable or scared or worried about a situation. And when you bring all of your attention to breathing deeply and letting your fingers slide up and down, it hopefully will make you feel a whole lot more comfortable. Thank you so much for practicing finger breathing with us today. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Second step lessons are created by Committee for Children, who owns and controls all rights therein. Permission was granted to district to make and broadcast this video for educational use only by district parents, families, teachers, and counselors with students currently learning via television broadcast due to the impact of COVID-19. No other use of this video or second step lessons is permitted. Committee for Children, 2020. Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about managing anxious feelings. Feeling anxious is when you are worried about something that might or might not happen. A little bit of worry can actually help us focus and try our best. Say you really want to do well on a math test. You'll probably put more time into studying so that you can do your best. But sometimes we can feel so worried that it's hard to think clearly and focus. And when we worry, we're usually thinking about something in the future. For example, will there be lightning and thunderstorms later today? What if I can't find a project that I like for my book report? One way to calm down strong feelings of worry and stress is to bring our attention and our focus back to the present moment. Our brain builder today is going to help us do just that. This is a grounding technique called 5-4-3-2-1. This technique will take you through your 5 senses to help remind you of the present. This is a calming technique that can help you get through tough or stressful situations. We'll start with one big belly breath, in through your nose and out. Number 5, look. Look around for 5 things that you can see and say them out loud. You could say, I see my dog. I see the pillow on the couch. I see a picture on the wall. Or I see a cloud in the sky. Number 4, feel. Pay attention to your body and think of 4 things that you can feel and say them out loud. You could say, I feel my feet warm in my socks. I feel my hair on the back of my neck. Or I feel the chair underneath my bottom. Number 3, listen. Listen for 3 sounds you can hear and say them out loud. It could be the sound of the air conditioner, the sound of a dog barking, or the sound of an airplane in the sky. Number 2, smell. Say 2 things you can smell out loud. If you can't smell anything, think of your 2 favorite smells. You could also move into a different room to find a smell in the kitchen. Number 1, taste. Say 1 thing you can taste. It may be the toothpaste from brushing your teeth, maybe it's bubble gum, or if you can't taste anything, say the name of your favorite thing to eat. Take another deep belly breath to end. Belly breathing and the grounding exercise you just learned are great tools to use to calm down strong feelings because you can do them by yourself, anywhere, at any time. We'll practice the grounding exercise together again next week. Positive self-talk is another calming strategy you can use when you're feeling worried. But sometimes our self-talk can be negative and make us feel worse. Let me tell you about Leah. Today is a big day for Leah. She's waiting to present her science project, a volcanic eruption demonstration. She's worked really hard on it. Look at Leah's face and her body and think about her situation. Does she look happy and excited to share her project? Nope. She feels worried or anxious about presenting her science project. Have you ever felt worried or anxious about something? Me too. Everyone feels anxious at times, but sometimes the feeling is so strong that your body feels uncomfortable and it's hard to think. For me, when I feel really worried and anxious, my stomach starts to hurt and I start to bite my nails. When this happens, I have to calm down. Let's think of ways that Leah could calm down before presenting her project. What have we learned? Well, she could stop and name her feeling and do some belly breathing. So she tries this, and at first she does feel better. But then she starts thinking to herself, I'm not ready for this. I bet the eruption will look stupid and everybody will laugh. Leah is using negative self-talk, and now she wants to hide under her desk. Do you think the negative self-talk is helping her? What you say to yourself affects how you feel. Leah's negative self-talk tells her what might go wrong, and this makes her anxious, worried feelings even stronger and bigger. Positive self-talk helps you calm down. You can say things like, I can do this, or it's gonna be okay. Think about some positive self-talk Leah could use to help herself calm down. How about, I'm ready for this. I practiced a lot. I worked hard on my volcano, and I want to show everyone. Leah does some more belly breathing and uses some positive self-talk to help herself calm down. Now she's calm, thinking clearly, and ready to present her project. Now we're going to practice using positive self-talk to calm down anxious feelings. I'm going to read a scenario, and I want you to think about some positive self-talk that would help. Here's the first one. It's your first time riding the bus to school, and you're anxious about missing it. What could you say to yourself? Maybe you thought, it'll be okay. I'll set my alarm and I won't miss the bus. That would help. How about this one? You're last up to kick in the kickball game and the score is tied. You're worried you'll let down the team. What could you say to yourself?
to help you feel calm. You could say, I can do this. I'm going to try my best. How about this last one? It's your turn to present your book report, and you feel really anxious and can't remember what to say. How about a big belly breath? And then focus. I can remember. Positive self-talk does not have to be complicated. It can be a really simple, I can do this, focus. Today you learned how to calm down when you have strong feelings. Using positive self-talk can help you calm down when you feel worried and anxious about something. We're going to finish today's lesson with a song called the Calm It Down Dance. Feel free to stand up and follow along with the moves. The song is a great reminder to stop, name how you're feeling, and then calm yourself down, either using belly breathing or positive self-talk, or counting is another strategy that they might talk about. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you soon.
First, though, I need some robot poses. You guys give me a robot pose? How about you? Good. Ready for some music? Yeah! Pop, you're feeling, brain takes hold, and you could flip your lid. Stop, you've got to think it through. Just calm it down like this. Stop, and then you're feeling calm down. 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 Every day we can have strong feelings, strong emotions that send us reeling. But there are steps we can take to calm down. These are the keys to turn things around. Just stop, and name your feeling. Turn on your brain. Start thinking, not just feeling. Calm it down. Do some breathing. Calm it down. And some counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Calm it down. Use self-talk. I can do it. I can do it. And keep thinking. Stop. Name what you're feeling now and take some belly breaths. Say good things to yourself. Count and calm the feeling down. Stop and name your feeling, calm 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 down. Say someone bumps you and you drop your stuff. You can't think clearly, you're feeling rough. Just say stop, name what you're feeling. Take back your power, don't hit the ceiling. Stop, name what you're feeling now and take some belly breaths. Say good things to yourself and calm the feeling down. Stop and name your feeling, calm 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 down.
Bienvenidos nuevamente. Mi nombre es Diana Díaz y soy maestra en la Escuela de Inmersión Claremont. Hoy estaremos aprendiendo acerca de simetría. Vamos a aprender el vocabulario, a dibujar una línea simétrica en una figura. Vamos a identificar y a crear figuras que tengan una o más líneas simétricas. Pero antes de que comience la lección, vamos a comenzar con la rutina de sentido numérico, para así practicar las características de una figura. ¡Empecemos! Para la rutina de sentido numérico de hoy, la pregunta es, ¿en qué son iguales? ¿En qué son diferentes? Observa bien estas dos imágenes. ¿En qué son iguales y en qué son diferentes? Algunas de las palabras que puedes utilizar para explicar tu pensamiento son cuadrado, cubo, lados, ángulos, aristas, vértice, caras. Te voy a dar unos momentos para pensar. Ahora escuchemos unos ejemplos.
Lo igual que el cubo y cuadrado es que los dos tienen vértices, pero la diferencia es que el cuadrado tiene 4 mientras que el cubo tiene 8.
Muy bien.
Que las dos son figuras, pero uno es una figura plana y otro es una figura tridimensional.
Excelente. ¿Tienes algunas otras ideas de por qué son iguales y por qué son diferentes? Antes de comenzar una lección, siempre es importante conocer su vocabulario. ¿Estás listo para aprender vocabulario nuevo hoy? Comencemos. Línea de simetría. ¿Has escuchado esa palabra antes? Simetría. ¿Qué será una línea de simetría? Una línea de simetría divide una figura en dos partes congruentes. Una figura tiene línea de simetría cuando una mitad de la figura es exactamente igual a la otra mitad. Cuando observo esta mariposa y observo la línea de simetría, puedo pensar en un espejo. Una mitad es el reflejo de su otra mitad. Observa este cuadrado. ¿Tendrá línea de simetría? Muy bien, tiene línea de simetría. La línea de simetría puede ser vertical, también puede ser horizontal y también puede ser diagonal. Pero ¿sabes qué? Una figura puede tener más de una línea de simetría. Puede tener simetría diagonal, horizontal y vertical. ¿Y qué ocurre cuando rotamos nuestra figura? La línea de simetría permanecerá. Observemos ahora este emoji. ¿Tendrá línea de simetría? Vamos a colocar una línea en el medio. ¿Qué observas? ¿Un lado es el reflejo del otro lado? Es una figura asimétrica. No tiene simetría. Mientras la figura de la mariposa es una figura simétrica. Sí tiene simetría. ¿Sabías que podemos encontrar simetrías en nuestro mundo real? Acompáñame a buscar simetrías. Encontré esta mesa de billar. ¿Sabes? Estos huecos marcan la misma mitad de la mesa de billar. Muestran una línea de simetría. ¿Y qué de esta mesa de ping-pong? ¿Observas alguna línea de simetría? Puedo observar una simetría vertical y horizontal. Aquí hay otros ejemplos de simetrías a nuestro alrededor. ¿Habías observado que una cancha de baloncesto ya marcaba una línea de simetría? La simetría la podemos encontrar en nuestro mundo real. ¿Podrás observar alguna otra línea de simetría en la cancha de baloncesto? Aunque está de manera abstracta, hay otra manera de dividir la cancha por la misma mitad. Y es de manera horizontal, en donde una parte es el reflejo de la otra mitad, como un espejo. Observa la Casa Blanca. ¿Dónde estaría la línea de simetría? Tiene una línea de simetría vertical. Muchos de los edificios están construidos de manera simétrica, donde una mitad es igual a la otra mitad. Ahora observa el elevador. Cuando las puertas del elevador se cierran, forma una línea simétrica. En la bola del fútbol podemos observar que también ya muestra una línea simétrica, igual que la bola de baloncesto, en donde también ya en su superficie tiene marcadas líneas simétricas. Pero observa el canasto. El canasto está colocado en el mismo medio del tablero, formando la línea de simetría. Encuentra simetrías a tu alrededor. ¿Puedes observar alguna?
Utilizando una hoja de papel, la voy a doblar por la misma mitad para crear así una línea simétrica. Luego la voy a doblar hacia el otro lado, pasándole y presionando por la misma línea. Una vez ya, voy a hacer un dibujo de un lado. Vamos a ver qué sale.
Como estamos utilizando pintura, a veces no queda exactamente igual el otro lado. Tiene mucho que ver la cantidad de pintura que utilicemos. Pero sí lograremos obtener el reflejo y la misma forma al otro lado.
Una vez ya terminado tu dibujo, tú puedes escoger qué quieres hacer. Voy a doblar la hoja y voy a presionarla. Creando un dibujo simétrico. ¡Mira qué lindo quedó esto! No quedó exactamente el mismo color, pero ya ves que la forma es exactamente igual en ambos lados, como un espejo.
Ahora vamos a formar una figura simétrica.
Vamos a ver, tenemos un hexágono. ¿Tendrá el hexágono simetría? Voy a utilizar estas figuras para ver qué puedo formar.
Observa mientras construyo mi figura. ¿Tendrá simetría la figura? ¿Qué estaré construyendo? Parece un niño. ¿Tendrá simetría vertical? ¿Y si lo pongo horizontal, tendrá simetría? ¿Qué tengo que hacer? Ahora sí tiene simetría. Ahora observa los robots que mis estudiantes crearon. Luego compararon su robot con otro compañero. Finalmente mostraban la línea de simetría de su robot. Tú también puedes hacerlo. Practiquemos. Necesito que tú me ayudes a determinar si estas figuras son simétricas o asimétricas. Obsérvalas bien. ¿Qué te parece este dibujo que tengo aquí? ¿Será simétrico o asimétrico?
Es simétrico.
Muy bien. ¿Tendrá más de una línea de simetría?
Sí.
Excelente. ¿Tiene una línea de simetría horizontal, diagonal, vertical? Realmente tiene muchas líneas de simetría. Podríamos continuar dividiendo nuestra figura de diferentes maneras, siempre y cuando formemos una mitad. ¿Y qué te parece esta que está aquí?
Asimétrico.
Asimétrico, excelente. No tiene línea de simetría. ¿Y qué te parece esta nube? ¿Tendrá línea de simetría?
No, es asimétrico.
Es asimétrico. Muy bien. Sus curvas no son iguales de un lado y del otro. ¿Y la flor qué te parece?
Sí, es simétrico.
Muy bien. Tiene simetría. ¿Tendrá una línea de simetría o tendrá más de una línea de simetría?
Tiene más que una.
Tiene más de una. Tiene líneas diagonales, horizontales, verticales y también podemos continuar mostrando más líneas de simetría en la flor. Ahora, quiero que busquemos líneas de simetría en nuestro abecedario. ¿Tendrán líneas de simetría? Obsérvalas bien. Comencemos por la A. ¿Tiene línea de simetría?
Sí.
Muy bien, tiene una línea de simetría vertical. ¿Tendrá otra línea de simetría?
No.
No tiene otra línea de simetría. Si ponemos una línea horizontal y doblamos la A por la mitad, esta parte no es el reflejo de la parte de abajo. Así que solo tiene una línea de simetría. Vamos a la letra B. ¿Tendrá línea de simetría?
Sí.
Tiene línea de simetría. Muy bien. La línea de simetría es horizontal. ¿Y la C? ¿Tendrá línea de simetría?
Sí.
Tiene línea de simetría horizontal. ¿Y la D?
Sí.
¿Y qué pasa con la E?
Tiene línea de simetría.
Tiene línea de simetría. ¿La F tendrá línea de simetría?
No.
No tiene simetría. ¿Y la G?
No.
No tiene simetría. ¿Y la H?
Sí.
Tiene simetría. Y así podemos continuar buscando la simetría a las letras del abecedario. Piensa en tu nombre. ¿Cuántas letras en tu nombre tienen línea de simetría? ¡Practica! Ahora te toca a ti reflexionar. Busca una hoja de papel y dobla el papel de tal manera que cuando lo abras tengas una línea de simetría. ¿Puedes hacer más de una línea de simetría? Luego, crea un dibujo que tenga simetría. Aquí te voy a mostrar dos ejemplos de unos dibujos con simetría. Luego de terminar tu dibujo, explícale a un familiar por qué tu dibujo tiene simetría. Puedes usar esta oración ancla para explicar tu dibujo. Mi dibujo tiene simetría porque... Reflexiona.
Padres, gracias por continuar apoyando el aprendizaje de su hijo desde la casa. Para continuar aprendiendo acerca de simetría, te voy a dar algunas ideas. Si en tu casa tienes legos, cubos o algún otro objeto con el que el estudiante pueda construir, pídele que construya algo que tenga una línea de simetría. Como por ejemplo, podemos ir armando algún objeto en donde ambos lados sean iguales. Que si lo dividimos por la misma mitad, sea un lado el reflejo del otro. Ya aquí tengo uno construido. También puedes buscar alguna hoja de papel de cualquier color. Pídele a tu hijo que la doble por la misma mitad y luego la vamos a recortar formando algún tipo de figura. Cuando termine de recortarla, pídela que lo abra. Cada lado tendrá exactamente la misma mitad, formando simetría. También si tienes en tu casa algún tipo de papel cuadriculado o una pizarra con cuadros, puedes pedirle a tu hijo que dibuje un patrón simétrico de colores o algún dibujo formando simetría. Como por ejemplo este dibujo. Representa un dibujo simétrico. Una vez más, muchísimas gracias por acompañarme en este video. Los espero la próxima semana. Adiós.